so as we head into the first game, it's going to be on people's mind as we move through this bracket. With so many superstar players, who is going to be able to make this early breakaway as we go into game one against Rin versus Maze, this Byleth player versus Corrin?
And we are just going straight into it with Maze leading off a little bit inside the beginning. Corrin having a very interesting matchup here, especially with the wide range that both characters have inside of the horizontal neutral, I'd like to call it.
Yeah.
It's going to make it really interesting here, but as long as Byleth is taking this nice and methodically, as they are currently right now, taking a nice 60% lead, this is just going to be a huge game we're going to see back and forth neutral.
Yeah, and with all of that, I think we're seeing the strengths of Byleth already. When you look at a character that has this range, one of the go-to options, what people want in their character's kit, is to just outrange it. But there's a reason why we joke around about the distance demon. It's because Byleth is the go-to for having long range. But Corrin, as of recently, has been getting more results, and we're seeing why that's the case as well. Because once Corrin does get the little bit of spacing they want, get the combo game going, their ability to take stocks skyrockets like so few other characters.
Yeah, there is just a surprising amount of pressure that has been... It's not really surprising because it's been hidden the entire time, but now we're getting it more and more to light. Just the amount of kill pressure is like that back air that
closing
kills
out the first stock, baby.
Yeah, well, there we go. Rin starting off with a nice early lead. Always nice to feel just a couple stocks ahead at the beginning. Just get nice and cozy and accustomed to it while you're warming up the hand still.
Exactly. And I think that's what we saw during this beginning bit. Because so far, it was a lot of sort of feeling out what each other's game plan is. Trying to get a good feel of, okay, are we trying to space each other out? In which case, Maze is going to be feeling comfortable. But on the side of Rin is looking at these options. What are the go-tos? And suddenly, when you get shaken up by what you're up against, suddenly there's a bow and arrow in your face. Byleth taking the stock, even him up. But we're seeing the combo game potential. Now that the percentages are starting to even again, I imagine we're going to see more of what we saw before, where both players begin to try and space each other out and really try to feel what each other's game plans are.
Yeah, we're seeing this sort of tap dance now. We're seeing a lot of different options coming out. Now we weren't seeing the raw back air before. Now we're starting to see it's a little bit thrown in there too. There's something funny about seeing the Dragon Lance go up against the I believe it's a spear.
Yep.
It's like watching some kind of choreography.
Oh, absolutely. And Corrin able to use that dragon pin, going for the forward smash, able to take that stock, rocking 120%. But with that being said, it's starting to get this extra credit that we all love when playing in a fighting game. When you have that stock lead, sure, it may have only been 18%, but a little bit builds up as now the stocks are even for this first game.
Yeah, now Rin is able to sort of cash in 28%, but never mind. I guess Maze is going to keep it nice and even. But
so with all of that, I do want to say I love what I'm seeing from both sides of this. Both players are showing each other the respect that they deserve for the start of this. I'm looking forward to seeing the next game because it does seem like both sides are starting to get a little bit of a download on each other, as we do see Byleth able to space out the neutral special, go for the down tilt, get the up air follow-up, and now the Corrin's off stage, 108%, going for the down air. It's not going to be enough. And with that, one forward air, knocking Corrin off stage, and the bow comes back out again and closes another stock. The first game of Lion's Den 100 going over to Maze.
yeah, that's a very nice way for us to get started off because, like we're seeing right now, right, with the Byleth and Corrin matchup. The strange part is this might be the only time we see this matchup tonight.
Yeah.
It's the coolest part about this event that's going on today. We're going to see so much unique character selection here. We're going to see Rin trying to readapt to this Byleth again, going into Game 2.
Oh my goodness, but we're off to a strong start already. Byleth changing up the game plan right out the gate, playing so like methodical during the first game, and then coming out the gate swinging this time around, and easily catches Rin off guard, getting 85% just to start this off.
And we're going to just see this sort of edge pressure going off by Corrin. Corrin having a lot of excellent options there, especially the up tilt. Being able to find that, I didn't think back air would kill that early.
Oh, it is a beautiful move. It is your best friend when you're playing Corrin. And now we're at this stage once again where Corrin does have a pretty nice lead going into this, but is looking for this little bit of chip damage. Gets the forward air, but not taking anything too extra. Takes what they can get, resets back onto neutral, sits on the stage as Byleth is the one struggling at the ledge.
Well, we're seeing just a little bit more of a refocus, recenter, a little bit of a regain for Baze, getting a little bit of that momentum up. A lot of littles here as we're finding the momentum again. Good, taking their time, trying to figure out which option they want to use. We definitely don't want to make a rush decision here.
Yep, as we
Beautiful.
do see it. The patience paying off. The side special coming out, closing out that stock, but once again, we're seeing that Corrin value. The ability to, whoa, going for the pin call out. A great idea, but just not enough to close out the stock. Going for another back air, and that does do it. Again, the value of that move is crazy.
There's just so much you could do with just one move like that, right? Especially for a little bit of stalling pressure that's given availability from that. But we're going to see a down tilt, which very good at Corrin, could go into a lot of different things, but does not find anything on that one.
Yeah, what I'm loving seeing so far, and I want to acknowledge it, Rin's ability from game 1 to game 2, right? Maze did take that win for the first match, but it was through patience. Both players sort of feeling out their game plans, and what we wanted to see during this was Rin step in and say, I want to come out the gates doing their own thing, as suddenly we do see the percentages start to even up a little bit, but it's going to be on Byleth to start going for a little bit more aggressive game plan, because while Corrin can get close to close out these stocks, he does have plenty of options to go for the options, like the pin, able to close out the stock, and now it is 1-1.
There's something you learn, there's something new that you learn every single day, and I thought Corrin's sort of side special there did not go through the edge of the stage.
Just getting full value.
But we're all learning here today. Wow. And now we're just going to have to see the readjustment from Maze going into game 3.
Absolutely. This is the point now, and why I love tournament play so much, because now you've seen both sides' game plan. You have a good idea of how they take their approach to the game, and it's on the Byleth now to start adapting. It's going to be difficult. Corrin does have great options to really get this Byleth into an uncomfortable position. Byleth needs a little bit of space to start putting in the work, as we see here, but when Corrin is the one putting up the pressure on the corner of the stage, suddenly it's very difficult for them to start getting their stage control back.
Yeah, and especially with just the sheer amount of punishment that each character does do, especially on a positioning standpoint too. We're seeing this kind of tether where they want to be at the same-ish sort of range, because that's where the sweet spots are in each of their moves, except for back air, which will always be phenomenally dangerous.
Yep, as now we see this is the strange spot. This is the awkward place for this Byleth player, because again, they need this space. They need the ability to really start zoning out this Corrin player, but when you have someone who does have good air mobility, who's able to find these gaps in your game plan, suddenly it becomes a little bit more dangerous, as while Corrin is at 100%, these options to take stocks are just not as wild as we were expecting, but now Corrin is the one back on the stage going for the nair, gets the follow-up. Byleth at 40%. Corrin could lose a stock to just about anything, but is doing a great job of really holding on.
Yeah, and with all this extra credit, like we were talking about before, woo, beautiful back air. Always capitalizing on his back airs. I'm probably back air's #1 fan tonight.
You
But
are- we are a fan of Bear. Bears.
we love Bear here. But touching up on the extra credit again, right? Like every little percentage matters. And with a character like Corrin too, instead of Rage, everything that hit like a car is now hitting like a truck.
Yeah. And even so, look at this. Corrin is at 164, was hit by the Byleth forward air, but it's just not enough. At this point, while Byleth does have great options for taking stock, the Rage is building up, and then suddenly this back air that we've seen so much value over this entire set suddenly is taking stocks earlier and is getting even more value than it had before.
Yeah, and Maze still has a great shot here, especially with all the different tools that Byleth has. It just takes one good hit right now to sort of get that game state back in, but Rin finding it and gets the neutral special into the side tip is going to be able to secure